I'm Tim Hooper.
And I'm Mike Gandolfo.
And this is The Trust Factor,
where high touch
plus high tech
multiplied by high trust
equals the real estate professional's formula for success.
All right, welcome back to Trust Factor.
Back. Yes.
Let's go.
Dude, every time that intro pops up, dude, you are a handsome dude. You know that? You're a stud.
I tell you. I try. Like I am the grizzly looking one with the beard, and you're like always coming in like perfectly manicured, the hair's never out of place. I've never had a hair in place. So
hey,
hey,
I did this in 10 minutes this morning. Okay.
Yeah. Sure. So we're following up today on our last episode where we talked about basically we're diving into these 4 archetypes, and we got into the low tech archetypes in the last show. So if you missed it, go back and listen to it to see if you are the gambler or the martyr or what that means. By the way, if you are one of those low tech people and you want to bring in more tech into your business, the biggest mistake I see people do, Tim, is like they try to just bring tech in, like all the tech too fast, instead of just saying, hey, you know what? This is one place where I think we can maybe introduce something and spend some time in getting to know that one really well. When you feel like you're proficient at it, then you can add on the next piece. Because honestly, like we talk about high tech and it does matter, but as long as you can use this thing, the cell phone, that's pretty much all you really have to do, right? Like you got to be able to do that efficiently, but figure out 1 or 2 tech things that you can add in at a time. Don't try to do too much too quick.
I think with tech, the question is, what is going to multiply your it factor?
Mm-hmm.
So what is your business? Okay. What is your it factor? What's the attractive piece of your business? And that's where, some people are like, well, it's the way I break it down for people. It's the way I educate people. Okay. So what technology could help you do that in a multiplied way? That's where I can't believe a lot of real estate agents don't have a YouTube channel. Pure and simple YouTube channel.
Are you talking directly at me or like?
It's like YouTube channel. Think about it. I'm moving to Louisville. And somebody told me I needed to call you. I know Jason up in Louisville. I don't know real estate. I called Jason. Hey, who do you got? It's Mike. Call Mike. So I get on with Mike, and Mike asked some great questions. I love Mike. I'm like, dude, Mike knows his stuff. I could totally tell Mike knows his stuff. But, and by the way, we all make emotional decisions before we make logical decisions. So emotionally, like Mike's there, he's present for me. I'm like, Mike's probably my guy. But then I'm a new buyer, or I'm just not really familiar with it, whatever. So Mike and I get to talking at some point along the line. Mike's going to share his, like the contract, the commission structure. And I'm going to sit there and maybe I have some sticker shock. Maybe I'm like, well, why is he getting that? That's a lot or whatever. And so in my brain, okay, as a real estate agent, that's already probably an issue that's going to come up. So how do I load the front end with so much value? All right, here's what it looks like. I ask all my questions, or Mike asks all his questions. Then Mike says something like this. Hey, Tim, how many kids you said? You have 4 kids? What are their ages? Boom. It's like, dude, okay, so you're going to need, you and Jen might be able to do a nice fine steakhouse when you're up here, but it sounds like you got the kids. Tell you what I'm going to do. I made a little YouTube video because I have kids too, Tim. They're in college now, but I made a little YouTube video of like the 7 best places to eat and visit and take your kids when you're in Louisville. That's on my channel. So number 1, and I did 3 things right there. I have a channel. So now it's like, oh, what else does Mike have on his channel? It sounds like he knows Louisville really well. So right in my brain, I'm like, oh, Mike has a channel. Okay. But then this is a question. Do you mind if I text you that link that when you're driving up here, you let your kids watch it and they can all pick? It'll be a little fun little game, but I don't mean to brag here, but I am a little entertaining. I used to be a basketball coach. So you're able to just share a little bit more about yourself without sharing about yourself. But it's like, I made this for you. I made this with you in mind. And your buyer types out there. What have you made with them in mind that extends beyond the transaction? And also, by the way, gets your face in front of the rest of their family. Those are going to be decision makers. So all I'm saying is, Mike,
can we unpack that a little bit though?
Would you say yes? Would you say you have a charm about you? You have a Louisville charm about you. I just said you a handsome dude when I got on here. I wasn't even planning to tie this all together. But you have that Louisville charm. How do you multiply that?
Well, and you're exactly right, because I think, you said YouTube channel. I think most real estate agents are thinking about like posting the videos of their new listing and all that other kind of stuff. And that's not it. Like, this is like, you can tips about the process, tips about whatever else, but tips about the community. Like, this is where this needs to live. And Neil Mathwig does this at such a high level. And I love Neil Mathwig, but he's another trainer around Agent Rise. Look him up. But let's just unpack kind of like make this real practical. When you're not from Louisville, you've been here a few times. When you hear Louisville, Kentucky, what pops in your head?
Bourbon. Okay.
So like my brother is a master taster for a major distillery. I know a little bit about bourbon. We actually did this video, and it doesn't even live on YouTube. It lives on social media. It should live on YouTube. But where my wife, like one of the, what's the bourbon cocktail you think of the most? When I say name a bourbon cocktail, what's the bourbon cocktail that you think of the most?
I don't know my bourbons enough. So Andrew and no, I don't know.
You've heard of an old fashioned?
Yes.
So an old fashioned was created at the place where my wedding reception was.
Okay.
And so my wife and I did this video where we're teaching you how to make the perfect old fashioned. And while we're doing it, we're sprinkling in some real estate advice, right? Like that's exactly where it's entertaining. It's fun. We're teaching you how to make a mint julep at Derby time. Horse racing, the Kentucky Derby is another thing. Well, I'm overly involved with that 2-minute horse race. Like I'm a part of this thing called the Kentucky Derby Festival. I got to get to wear this really cool pink jacket if you see it on social media. And so like you're exactly right. I do not celebrate enough of all the stuff of the ways that I'm entwined into this community, whether it's the Derby, whether it's bourbon, whether it's basketball, because that's another big thing around here. Little fun facts about Louisville. Did you know that 90% of the world's disco balls were made in Louisville, Kentucky? Probably not, right? Did you know that we have a cemetery with two of the most famous people who ever existed in the world are both buried? Colonel Sanders and Muhammad Ali. Right?
I did not know that. You asked me that one when I first came to Louisville. I did not. Or no, you're taking me to the airport.
Yeah.
And you asked me that one. Yeah.
And so that trip to the airport was full of like little things that all could have been individual videos that make people.
All could have been. In fact, I remember the off ramp. And looking up at a big building, thinking about that question. Yeah. As you were taking me to that. That's how powerful the story of the two most famous people in Louisville. That's how powerful one story can be. It literally etches a story, and a story has to do with context. By the way, if somebody's looking to move to your area, please think about this. This is the EQ side of high tech. Because if you just have high tech, you're going to be this. And we're going to talk about this. The EQ side of it is this. If somebody's looking to move to the area, they are also trying to find context. Unless there are jobs moving them there and they have to go there, you got to remember they're trying to sell it to their kids. They're trying to sell it to their spouse. Give them some really fun context of why it makes a good place to live. And by the way, there's plenty of travel bloggers and there's plenty of vloggers and there's plenty of people doing that. It doesn't matter if you reference the video in your video or you need to check this out. It's an hour long. It's down below. She's a great vlogger in the area. Do that, but do your own little take of it, because that is multiplication. Here's the thing. If you don't have a way to get your face in front of the family, that's one of the best places to start with tech. Well, in my opinion, like that's another decision maker that you can't get in front of unless you just can't. How do you do it? That first conversation. Hey, when you travel up here, I got something for you. I'm going to text it to you. Here's how to use it. So that would be anyway. So let's talk about. Okay,
you establish yourself though as the source.
Correct. We're getting into a little bit more of the change agent here, but what I'm saying is, don't try to do all the tech at once. Pick one area of tech to start with, and my thing is, it needs to be what multiplies you.
Right.
What multiplies you. All right. And that's, for me, it's video, but it's YouTube. It could be a video on social, but it's multiplies your face. Yep.
So going back to that, let's talk about the person who only does the tech and doesn't do the touch at all, or is very low touch, high tech, low touch.
Yeah.
This is the spammer. This is the person we're talking about here. This person is living in the old school push marketing ways, ironically, just with new tools where they're just going to throw
Mailers.
as much at you as possible. You know, you're going to get touched in 1,000 different ways. None of it's personalized, and you're hoping that one of these calls gets answered. Their conversion rates are, you know, if you're going off like the Zillow numbers, typically they have to have 200 Zillow leads to convert one into a closing. They've got to be super automated in order to handle that kind of flow, and so they're constantly just putting people through automations and screenings and stuff like that to try to go find the one. It reminds me of the scene. I don't know if you were sheltered growing up, but in the original, Willy Wonka, Charlie and Chocolate Factory, of all the people in the peanut factory unwrapping. Yeah, okay. They're all unwrapping, trying to find the golden ticket, right? Like, so this is like everything was automated, just so they could get to find the one golden ticket. So this is the spammer, and this is my struggle when I go and I go to real estate conferences and whatever else. This person's hard for me to be around. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, this is a hard person for me to relate with. Just because obviously I'm going to probably just be way more on the touch side than I would be on the high tech side. I just couldn't imagine putting so many walls in between me and the potential client, or having a client who, I don't know if I've ever had a client where the first time I met them was at the front door of a property. I don't think I've ever had that.
Wow.
So there you go, Tim. So I'm going to let you take it away and talk about what the spammer is.
Yeah, well, first and foremost, I think if you're looking at tech, so you're the high touch person, you're looking at tech, understand that most tech companies have the propensity to turn you into a spammer. Mm-hmm. So if you're looking at tech, I would ask, like, for instance, one of my good buddies has this awesome system for title companies, and I love the system. You can see when a real estate agent does a listing. You can see when a real estate agent, like, you could follow real estate agents. You could see buy side, list side for real estate agents. It's great data. But one of the things that they built into it was this little automated touch thing. So when somebody has a listing, you could send them a little message. And because most people sit there and think, well, what do I say? He built ChatGPT into it, where you can literally have AI write the message. Put yourself on the side of the real estate agent. You just listed this property, and you have 7 title companies using this software, and you're going to get this message of, hey, congrats on your property. Like, put yourself in the shoes of the real estate agent, please. Put yourself in the shoes of the real estate agent, please. I just want, do you really want that? No. Like, when you're looking at a technology, please also put on the lens of your customer and say, would I want that to happen to me? Mm-hmm. Big purple dot. I don't mean to call you out, but your texting sucks because you're doing it to me, and I hate it. You loan officers, you have a great CRM. Don't just say, oh, I'm going to just say yes to all these like notification pushes that go out of the CRM. You need to understand technology. Most companies have built into their technology some level of an easy button that should not be used. Mm-hmm. Now, is there a time to use it? 1,000%. There's probably, out of the 9 notifications that can get pushed, there's probably 1 that Tim Hooper actually wants, or there might be 2 that Mike Gandolfo wants. But, like, how are you asking the question of, hey, what is important to you and what do you want from this technology? Like, hey, I use a great system. For instance, one of my good friends just set up a CRM. By the way, she's one of the few title companies who's like adamantly, we're going to use CRM and run it. And she has put the work into it. I'm so proud of her. Zoya, if you're listening, I am shouting you out. She's put the work in, but you know what she did? She built this content, this realtor intake form. But the way she does it is, Mike, in order to serve you better, I have a system that I obsess about. It's not going to spam you, but in order to serve you better and reach out at times that are critical to you and that you want, and in ways that you want, would you invest 3 minutes to fill out my realtor intake form that I put together, that I built? Would you do that if I text you over the link? Every real estate agent, she has that conversation. And by the way, the questions in her intake form are really fun. She built it. She customized it. They're really fun. So I actually get to know Zoya's energy through the contact intake form.
Love it.
That's the way to do it. So look at your technology. What are you trying to automate? And then how do you humanize the touch points? By the way, one of your automations going out of your system, title companies, is a buyer welcome packet, and you need all this information. Stick your freaking video of your attorney's face and humanize yourself in that transaction. Say, hey, I work closely with your real estate agent and welcome, and here's what we need from you. And this is going to make this transaction flow so much better. We can't wait. And I don't use the word transaction. Actually, I say this is going to make your closing day happen faster. It's all about them, not transaction, closing day. So,
oh, that's so important, by the way. Use their words, not our words.
Yes.
Oh man, I'll tell you.
But does that make sense, guys? There's CRM, there's all these great technologies, and each one of them have the propensity to turn you into a spammer if you're not careful.
And, all right, so you just gave a couple really good lenses too, I think. And the one lens that popped mostly in my head is, if you automate this thing, does it add to the potential, or does it take away from the possibility of you duplicating that client? So you think of it from the side of the receiver, right? Who's getting the message. And if I'm the message, does it add value? You should always add value, and you can automate a lot of things that add value. But if it doesn't directly allow for an opportunity for me to establish a relationship where I can duplicate that client, and what I mean by duplicate that client, like if it's a title company going to a real estate agent, that real estate agent is going to come back to me. If it's a real estate agent going to a client, that person is going to refer me in the next 6 months. Does your automation help you duplicate that client? And you really got to ask the question, because what I see on the real estate side is we automate a lot of things that happens between the time we get under contract and until we close. And I would tell agents that you can automate that stuff, but you should be the person who's still making the contact, because that is your most fertile ground for you to get referrals. They are talking to people about their closing date. They're talking to people about their move. They're talking to people about what's going on. Their experience with you is fresh. And the likelihood of them talking in those conversations and finding someone who says, man, we're thinking about moving, and them being able to recognize that and say, oh, well, you need to call. You need to make sure, let me connect you, by the way, with my real estate agent, because they did an amazing job. Right? Like, so is your automation actually hindering the ability for that to occur? Because lots of times what has to happen, I have to have the conversation with the person. And the automation can happen. It's like, oh, it's time for me to check in with Tim and Jen and let them know what's the update on their transaction. And when I can do that, Tim and Jen are happy because they're just like sitting there with nothing. And by the way, when they hear nothing, they don't assume the best thing. Right?
100%.
And so now I can say, hey, just want to let you guys know everything's going smooth. We're moving right along. This is what we can expect to happen next. Tim is automatically going to say, man, thanks so much. It makes me feel so much, better. And where I can say, hey, the best way to thank me is by, if you're around talking to other people about moving and someone says, hey, I'm thinking about moving, know that is a great connection for me, and introduce us on a text message.
You're seeding it right there. You just see the field.
You can't do that with automation though, can you?
No, because it's not the timing. Everyone wants the right timing. Like, what's the frequency? What's the right timing is when you're listening and you feel in your gut it's the right time. But you've also positioned yourself right there in the moment where you might have that gap of sign. And every transaction, by the way, has different periods that there's a gap. There's going to be this boom, boom, boom happening, like up front, boom, boom, boom. Then you're going to have this little gap. Somewhere in there's your chance to go show up as the cheerleader. Like, hey, I was just on with your title company. We worked so close. And I was checking in on this for you. And boom. And your thing with the title company might be, you're going to send me an update on this day. If you get my deals, you're going to send me an update on this day proactively. So then boom, the update comes in, you review it. If you have any questions, you call the title company. If you don't, you call the customer. Hey, I was just checking with the title company and we are on, everything's looking great. And I can't wait. And I'm so excited for you guys. How are things going to move? Remember, it's one of the most stressful times of their life right now. So if you just show up as the de-stressor, the cheerleader, the questioner, hey, anything, and then it's boom. Here's the, remember my name when your conversations. You're seeding it. The timing, you can't. You send an email, hey, remember my oh Tim, I put that in my signature line. Like no reward. I see it in real estate agent signature line. Nothing is greater than your referral. That has no emotion with it. There's no connection. There's no ask for the business in that. So
we're kind of floating into what the change agent is, right? This person, the multiplier.
I want to say one last thing about the spammer before we go.
Yeah.
If I can. All right. So you have a quantity over quality mindset. Quantity is not bad, but you want quality with quantity. You got to marry the two up. And then the outcome for you is you become commodity. If you're the spammer, you will be commoditized and somebody will come in and take your business. Every time.
Will do it easier, be more efficient, whatever else.
Yep. And here's the thing. I think a lot of agents fall into a trap, and it feels like a good thing, and it's really a horrible thing. And brokerage out there, if you're a broker owner, please hear this loud and clear from the heart that it's coming from. I'm not attacking your marketing process or the wonderful person you have in place to put all this automation to marketing, because your recruitment strategy is we'll do all of this stuff for you if you hang your license with our brokerage. Okay, that might sound great. And if you're an agent, you think, wow, they're going to do all this marketing for me. Okay. You should have, I'm not saying either or here. It's both and. That could be good. Number one, you should ask the same questions. How frequent? Let me see the stuff. And of course, you're probably looking at it, putting your name on it, whatever, and you like it. But some of the stuff going out, it doesn't matter to me as the home buyer. It's just extra. And by the way, most of it's coming through Constant Contact or MailChimp, going straight to a spam folder anyway. I'm not getting it. So you're already a spammer and you're ending up in my spam folder because of the way it's being sent. So when you delegate your touches to a marketing system, we're going to do it for you. You're subscribing to become a spammer. So again, same thing like with a tech company, when you're going to ask the questions, when you're going to say, how is this going to help? And how do I humanize some of the automated touch points? Do the same thing. Hey, if I send you 2 videos that I produce, could you send those out to my database for me? And you'll probably get that. Or yeah, we can. Well, how will you do that? Be adamant to know the process that's being automated. Somebody said you can't delegate something until you systematize it yourself. Realize with technology, you're technically delegating something. So do you have a good system that's already really humanized? Have you humanized the predictable? Or have you systematized the predictable? And then how can you now humanize those exceptional moments in that? So that's how you don't become commoditized and how you don't subscribe to spam, even if it's brokerage produced.
And we're really getting into this whole idea of being the change agent, being this multiplier.
Yes.
And really, when you think about that, like if I want to multiply, I want to multiply the type of person that I want to multiply. I don't want to multiply the jackass, right? So when you go back to this whole concept of quality, quality and quantity, the best way for you to get the quantity of the quality is to multiply the quality, right? And this is the person. Tim, I share some stats because hearing you talk, I can only help that you were at the same conference I was at in Louisville, Kentucky. You heard this brilliant guy talking about trust being the competitive advantage, and don't compete on the easy button and become a commodity. So when you really think about it, 91% of real estate agents do not follow up with their client after closing.
Wow.
Of the 9% left, more than half are sending out some sort of automated touch. Like, it's not personal. It's like they were put on some list and they're going to get like a recipe card. We talk on this show a lot about how much I like to cook. If I want a recipe, I'm not going to save my realtor's card for some time. I want to make it. I'm probably going to just go to Gemini and say, hey, I want to make, this is what I have and I want to make this. Let's do it. And so those recipe cards are no bueno anymore. I don't want your calendar, right? All this other stuff, although the calendar might have some staying power. I don't know if people still hang up calendars or not, but
I'll tell you one that was useful. Can I tell you one that was useful?
Yeah.
My real estate agent, by the way, he saved my phone as Virginia's most awesome real estate agent. And I would, if I was a real estate agent in Virginia, I would be banging Tim Hooper's door down right now and say, Tim, can you come speak to our team to teach them how to get saved in somebody's phone as Virginia's most awesome realtor? So I'm just going to leave it at that. But he saved in my phone as Virginia's most awesome realtor. And by the way, he screwed some things up. He made some mistakes, and he's still the most awesome realtor. But anyway, he did send me one the other day, Mike, and it was this. It had all the temperature. It was a magnet for the refrigerator, and all the temperatures that meat should be cooked to.
Oh,
and
there you go.
Right there, because I never remember it. That was actually pretty cool.
And it's actually it's easier to look at that magnet than it is to look up Google.
It is, because it's right. The timeliness of it. It was,
yeah, your hands are dirty powerful. Or whatever else, right?
That was pretty powerful. Yep.
Yeah, I love it. So, but I can't tell you the number of times that we've gone into a listing appointment. And by the way, if we're going into a listing appointment or we're going into a buyer consultation, we're meeting at someone's house, I've already got the appointment. I've already won. Like if I go through the front door, it's over. You lost. I won. And how many times that happens, and either one, the personal note that we wrote that person is on the entry table. The mailer that we sent them that actually has some really valuable information is hanging on the refrigerator. Or the best part is another agent is on the refrigerator, and what we're in there getting the appointment. And those are almost happening probably 75% of the time we go into a house. One of those things is occurring. But the end of the day, like, I'm winning, like, because I'm competing where the multiplier is competing where these other people cannot touch them.
Yep.
And it is really that simple. Like, they're so automated. This is the logo. Everyone looks, wow, wear this hat for a reason. This gear over here, this is the systems and processes that we automate. And this is the ripple effect of when we actually work on ourselves, when we elevate experiences and we humanize everything. That's what this logo is. This is my constant reminder to show up this way.
Wow.
This is to be the change agent, to actually deliver something that only about 3 to 4% of the real estate agents, probably less than that on the title side and on the mortgage side, because it's easier to become a commodity in the title and mortgage side.
Yep.
Like, this is where you compete at a level where no one else can touch you.
Yep.
So when you hear that, what do you hear? Like, you give some practical stuff here, because you do a lot of really good things in this space.
I do. I think I would tend to be, and I think you said earlier when we first started this podcast that you would lean towards the higher touch, and I would probably lean towards the higher tech. And I think that there's instances of that, but I, at the end of the day, don't really care for technology. I love it when it connects people. Mm-hmm. So I do a lot of virtual coffees, Mike. That's the first. I just met this lady at the Mortgage Bankers Association this week. She's looking to get into our space. I said, hey, reach. And for me, it's like, I always give somebody a lift. Like, if you're serious about working, like, here's a lift. Reach out on LinkedIn. Send me a message on LinkedIn. It's Tim Hooper, Greater Richmond area. You'll find me. Send me a message on LinkedIn, and we'll do a virtual coffee. And I know in my mind, 90% of people I say that to who are like, I want to get into something, whatever, they won't do it. This lady sends me a LinkedIn message. Hey, Tim, so you mentioned a virtual coffee is the best next step. What do I need to do to schedule that? Like, there's the message. It came in last night. I was pretty impressed, actually. But anyway, so for me, I love virtual coffee. I love Calendly because it helps me. It allows them to look at my calendar, find an opening, and then I'm able to. It's just, that's automated. Why do I like that technology? Because it gets me back to human. It gets me back to face with somebody. So for me, I like technology. But here's I think the heart behind what you just said. That 90% of real estate agents don't follow up after closing. Here's the heart of the change agent. Here's the heart of the trust factor pro is the spammer moving to non-spammer. You're now the trust factor pro. You're leveraging technology so you can multiply humanity, like your humanness. The trust factor pro is at the very core, is in it for the connection. And not to be Mr. Nice Guy or Mrs. Nice Guy to be liked. If you're in it to be liked, you're not living timelessly. You talk about logos. My logo is live timeless, period. You're not in, if you have to be liked, because I believe this, the best people in my life are willing to tell me truth. They're willing to share values We have a shared value system. The person who's in it as a Trust Factor Pro is in it to serve, is in it to help homeownership happen for people, is in it to protect them. They are defender. They are the teacher. They are and they are going to obsess about, how did you get landed? Did you find that dance camp for your daughter? They're going to listen, and they're going to care, and they're going to care at scale, and they're going to delegate some of the minutia so they can care at scale. So I'm going to follow up. I'm going to obsess about you getting integrated into the society. I'm going to even be thinking about, like, what were some of the things you wanted to do in Louisville? And I'm going to watch for those opportunities to come up to connect you to those things you said were important to you. So in my brain, Mike, you said you see the client as a 400,000 lifetime value asset, not a single transaction, right? That's the referral. That's the 3X.
Mm-hmm.
That's the 3X out of.
Actually, when you think about that, that's like a 40X.
It's a 40. It's the 3 times. You're like, this person, when they get ready to move a family member here, or they get ready to move or upgrade, they don't even think. They are so happy that they're not even gonna have to go think about another real estate, because I'm like now doing life with them. They get invited to my stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, and when I get invited
to that stuff,
to theirs,
it's a client party for me, because everybody there is one of my clients.
Yeah. So that's the thing. So that's where, in my head, ask yourself this question. And here's the big question in our workbook, Mike. And by the way, if you're listening to this and you're like, dude, we need to, like, let's get all your agents together and let's go through this workbook together. But here's the big question. Where's your heart?
Mm-hmm.
Where are you at? That's the big question we all have to ask ourselves, is it not? That's the eternal question. Where are you? Where are you? Some of us are on our way out. We know it. We're not confessing it. We're not saying it, but we're like, if I could just do it 2 more years, if I could just make enough money 2 more years, I can retire. You're probably not going to be the Trust Factor Pro. I'm sorry. I want to move to Florida to get mailbox money. You're not the Trust Factor Pro. You lost your heart. Like, where are you? I'm not saying you can't retire, but don't burn out. Don't coast. Retire. Confess it. I'm retiring in 2 years. I'm going to work my butt off till I do. Don't hide the fact. Right now, a lot of people, I don't want people to know that I use AI. I'm afraid my clients will know that I'm using AI. I tell my clients I'm using AI because I want to show up more humanly for them. I want to negotiate better for them. I leverage AI in the process. I will never replace what matters most. I leverage AI to process stuff, to do stuff, to analyze stuff, so that I can show up more, educate, answer faster, show up for you, negotiate higher dollar amount. Everything that matters to them, I'm going to leverage technology. And everybody knows, by the way, that AI is here to stay. So stop being afraid to talk about what your truth is. Where are you? Did you lose your, and by the way, if you lost your service heart, if you lost it, you got burned out, say it. Confess it. Where are you? That's the Trust Factor Pro, because you can't, or else you're just going to go automate and spam instead of automate so you can rehumanize. And that's the Trust Factor Pro.
And I'm telling you right now too, like when you're talking, I'm constantly thinking, like, this is it in a nutshell. And again, Tim and I are putting together a full day workshop to teach you exactly to understand where you are and how to get to be at this transformational level of being the change agent.
Yeah, it's fun level.
So at the end of the day, the difference is that the low tech person, or the low touch person is chasing, right? The high touch person is attracting. And there's and you're attracting what you want to attract instead of chasing a lot of garbage. But then you have this, we talked about the person who is the martyr, who's also high touch. That person's not systemized.
Yep.
And so now you're adding the system, the tech systems, and you're able to predict, and you're able to actually withstand the markets. You're still going to have ups and downs with the market, but you're not going to have massive ups and downs with the market.
No.
You're going to be able to I mean, I'm a perfect example. During the entire recession, my business went up 200% every year. I went from almost a brand new agent to the number 2 agent at the largest brokerage in Kentucky. And that's what it kind of came down to, is that you were systemized and you were high touch, highly systemized, whatever tech was available. I was the first one in our office that had a convertible Mac, or it was a ThinkPad, convertible ThinkPad, so I could lay it down and have thing weighed probably. I think the weight thing weighed like 45 pounds. Like why would I even lug this thing around, right? So I mean, but that's really kind of what it comes down to, is like, embracing the technology side, making yourself more efficient, be as systemized as possible, so you can predictably attract the type of business you want to have and grow.
Yeah.
Let's do it, man.
That's awesome. That's the Trust Factor Pro, guys. That's the multiplier. That's the change agent. That's who we all want to be. All right, Mike, this has been good.
Yep. Let's hit it. We'll hit you all next time. I think this next episode, are you going to interview me a little bit?
I think we are. So get ready, guys.
Get ready. Here it goes.
How to turn conversations to conversions.
All right. We'll see you next time. The Trust Factor podcast is available wherever you get your podcasts. You can even watch us on YouTube.
And subscribe to the channel so you can comment and drop your questions and share it with your team.